This is my new favorite opening for black. It starts off with white playing literally anything. You play e6, you play b6. So these two pawns, very crucial for the opening. It is a pretty bad mistake. The best move for white here is knight to f3. You play bishop to b7. These three moves I play almost every single time. Unless my opponent plays d4, I play e6, and he plays bishop here, which is a blunder by white. But if you play b6 now, you're actually losing your queen, and white is completely winning, which my opponents have done to me before in bullet games, so beware of that. So it is an opening you can play against any white opening. If they play e4, if they play d4, you can always play this opening. We'll just say they go e4 because that's what happens most of the time. I always play e6. If they just open with both their pawns in the center, I'll play e6 and b6. And this is not a French defense as it says on the engine, but this is a little bit different. It's kind of a hippo where you put your bishop here. We'll say they put their knight here, I put my bishop out, and they put this knight out. This is a position that I've reached in a couple games. You can see this is my opponent, and I believe, yeah, this is the other game. This is my opponent. So that has happened twice. I'm going to show you a couple other starting positions where it has happened and different things happen. The best move is to play your bishop here. That's what I played in both the games. One of my opponents played this, and one of my opponents played this. This is a significantly worse move. I'll show you how that game ended up. My opponent immediately put the bishop there. My other opponent put the queen here, which I knew was the best move, and I was really thrown off that he played the best move in the position. So after that, I took, because the reason that you put the queen here is because you don't want to break this pin. Because if you break this pin, I'm going to take your knight. So you don't want me to take the knight, which is exactly what I did. And then it just goes downhill from here because it's a bullet game. But I was just trying to learn the time. So you can't even see how much time there is, but there's 1 minute in this game for the whole game. And in this one, my opponent played the best move, which they're pretty much equal, e5 in here. So I took, which was not the right idea because this knight is pinned. It can't go anywhere. If he were sometime to break it or do something, I don't know, so it's not a pin anymore, then's when I should take it. But I took it now because he took back. I thought he would take with the queen, but taking back was even better. And my opponent just pushed, and he had a very solid game. And I ended up doing very well and winning the game by resignation. But that's not the point. The point is the opening. The opening, this is bad. The queen there is really good, but we're not going to look at either of those. We're just going to look at other starting variations. He doesn't have to put both those knights out. Another way you could play is like this opponent. He put his knight and this bishop here. So that immediately wouldn't guard this pawn if I pin the knight, because this pawn's only defended by this knight, and if I attack this knight and it's pinned, this would be undefended, and I could take it with the bishop. So that's exactly what I played. It's the best move in the position, and he played queen to d2. Immediately, if I take here, he takes back, I can take this here. So that is exactly what I do. I take it, and he pushes my bishop back. Drop it back to b7. I could have thought of maybe there'd be a better square on one of these two, but I just immediately pushed it back because it's a bullet game. Trying to play as quickly as possible. And my opponent castles, and we just had a game from here where obviously we make a lot of mistakes, and my opponent ended up winning. So bullet games are really hard to continue to the middle game from the starting game, but that's besides the point. We're just looking at the opening. That's why I'm playing these bullet games, so I can just get better at opening. And this is the same. Played the bishop out. He put his bishop here. And this is a little bit different because instead of this knight and this bishop, it's actually the other knight and the other bishop. And in this position, the best move to play is c5. So you'll see in a lot of positions either c5 or a6 are some of the best moves. But knight c6 is also sometimes the best move, which it was not in this position. My opponent played c3. I just pushed d5. d5 is not generally the best move, but because he was being so passive with his pawns and he doesn't really have any attack in the center, only this pawn, I decided to do that. He took, I took. I should have taken back with the queen, but that's besides the point. We're just trying to look at the opening. This is a bullet game. It's not going to be as good. I feel like this. Oh, no. We looked at that one already. Okay, so this is another one. He doesn't have to push d4 and take the center with both of his pawns. Instead, he can just put his bishop out, and it is very annoying for me. I played d5, which is not the best move. The best move would probably be knight f6, which is almost never the best move because he can just push here, and if he has both his pawns in the center, it's really hard to counter. But it's probably because he doesn't have his D pawn that he can't push this one. So I pushed D5, he took, I took, and he played queen to E2. Not a very good move. As you can see, bishop E7 is the only one that actually is good. I played knight here, and it's a bullet game. It's hard to judge it so quickly. But here is actually a rapid game where I played it. The computer says I played like a 2150, and my opponent played like a 1700. My opponent played E4 and bishop to C4. Bishop C4 is almost never a good move against this. Something that they can do is play D4 and then bishop here in a bullet game and try to attack my queen, which I have dropped it before, but I'm now more cautious. And he puts both his pawns in the center, his bishop here, and I just play my bishop here. He plays pawn forwards attacking me, which is immediately very controversial, and I hate it. So I push because I don't want to get taken. Taken seems pretty bad. Opens up my king on this side of the board, and knight here looks a little scary because knight here, pawn takes, and something like queen here, check. Oh, but knight's defending it. Anyways, I didn't look at it, so I just pushed. I've spent 12 seconds in the position. I just try to defend it with the pawn. Apparently you don't have to defend it if he takes back. I don't even know what you do. Maybe you take this pawn, but besides the point, that's not what I played. He played bishop check, and I thought I could probably defend this with my pawn. If he takes back, I'll take back with knight. He'll take, and I'll take here, and I'll be threatening here with my bishop. So I played c6, which is the best move. He took, I took back with the bishop, and immediately, probably the reason I took back with the bishop is because it is attacking this bishop. I should have taken with the knight, and I probably didn't want to because there was a pin, and I'm not actually threatening the bishop. So I took with the bishop, and we traded, and instead of the bishop being there, the knight's there, and it's not threatening the square. So he has a free move to do whatever he wants, and he plays a pretty bad move. He's only spent 20 seconds. I've spent 20 seconds, but this move, I don't spend any time on. It's an okay move. It defends the knight instead of getting forked right here. I just defend it, and it's fine. The knight comes in, and I decide to play my knight out, attacking the queen. And my opponent, for no reason at all, counterattacks my queen. Like, you don't need to, and honestly, it's a terrible move. You can see it's a blunder, because when I go knight here, I literally spent 3 seconds on this move. I take here, you take my queen, I take back with a knight. And he doesn't even do it. He takes back, and I just move my queen away. He takes, I take, and so far he's spent 30 seconds. He's lost his queen. He has 2 pieces for a queen, which is honestly such a bad trade that I can completely win it very quickly. He castles, I castle, and we just have a very quick game from here on, and I play some pretty terrible moves, not the best at all. I just trade off the pieces as much as possible, and he drops this knight. Instead of taking and having it defended, he just loses a piece. Doesn't take my bishop, and instead just loses a pawn. I don't know, maybe bishop here would have been a good move attacking this. He has no threats of this rook. I know that immediately. He takes there, sacrificing a bishop for no reason, takes my pawn, attacking my bishop here, you can see. And he's completely losing. I attack his rook because it was undefended. He moves it over here, and he's in a terrible position here. If I go like this, I'm attacking the pawn, and I'm attacking the rook, so that's almost immediately what I do. I take the pawn on a2 so I can threaten here with the queen and the rook after I move my bishop out of the way, but he just pushes this pawn forwards, and I play bishop here. Now I am attacking this pawn with 3 things, and only 2 things are defending it, and one is the king, so it won't be able to take back. So we have rook sliding over, and it is checkmate in 2, queen takes, king goes over, and since this rook is defending here, I can take it with the queen. And this was a 10-minute game against a 1460. He should have been so much better than he was, and he gave away a queen in the opening. He just got confused. He doesn't know how to play this because it's not a real opening, and he doesn't know any theory about it. So I think it is a very good way to play chess against your opponents instead of playing a game of memorization and theory. You can do a bunch of tactics and get really good at this, and you can just learn what to do in the opening to be an edge better than them. And I think it's a very good way, very good opening to study. I've been studying it for a while. I really like it, and yeah, Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.